I think we all tend to want to see ourselves as individuals. We don't like to think about being influenced by something or someone else. But look around. There is an awful lot of similarity that we see in our culture. Also, there are a lot of prominent subculture groups in American society in which probably most of us will tend to find ourselves gravitating toward. Why? Because culture is something that we learn. Now, as a review, culture includes technology. This includes not only the items we use, but the rules on how we use them. Culture includes symbols, which can include hand gestures and dress as well. Culture involves language, which is not only limited to English or Spanish or Chinese, but also to slang, which is a major element that really defines a lot of the subcultures in our larger society. There also are values. Those are the beliefs that we have of what is right or wrong, good or bad, desirable or undesirable. And there are norms. Norms are the rules that of conduct that a society establishes to enforce the values that they hold. So all of these elements of society are socially constructed. And since they are socially constructed, they can and they do change over time. And this can have a significant impact on personality development. Remember, personality or one's identity is a mix of both nature, heredity, and genetic dispositions, as well as nurture, the environment in which we are raised in, including our family and the larger culture as a whole. This is why, when you compare and contrast individuals today and individuals from, let's say, 50 years, 100 years, 200 years ago in American society, you see the influence of culture. The technology, the symbols, the language, the values, the norms, all will impact how a person sees himself or herself and what they deem to be good and desirable qualities. For example, just look at the constantly changing nature of dress, a cultural element that is socially constructed. Now we, as a society, we determine what dress is desirable or undesirable. So 200 years ago, culture said this was good and desirable. In the 1920s, the culture said this was desirable and fashionable. In the 1970s, this is what was culturally accepted. Okay, maybe some of you still like that last one. But the point is that dress, as just one form of cultural expression, changes as society changes. But that raises another question. How do we come to learn what is desirable? I mean, we don't learn by reading some culture manual or textbook to know what is in or what is out. This is where sociologists look to the influence of the agents of socialization. These include what it is that we learn from our family, what it is that we learn from our peers, what it is that we learn from the interactions that we have with others in school, and what it is that we learn from what is promoted in the media, be it your favorite musician, your favorite sports star, or what is advertised as being in, and so forth. For example, in the 1980s, Madonna greatly influenced the dress of many teenage girls, from their wearing of the lace glove to headbands and much more. Today, so many athletes are wearing this logo on all of their clothing. And kids across the country now flock to stores to buy similar apparel. This is something I see even with my own son, and this is part of the process of socialization. So, as you are reading this section, keep this main idea in mind. There are four primary agents of socialization in the United States: family, peer group, school, and the mass media. In some cases, people will undergo voluntary or involuntary resocialization. So, as you're reading, you want to answer two main questions. First, what are the primary agents of socialization? Can you be able to explain them in your own words? And then, secondly, what are the two kinds of resocialization? So I recommend that you use an organizer like this when you're taking notes from your textbook reading. For each of the major agents of socialization, you want to answer three questions. First, you want to give a brief description of what is included in that agent. For example, if you're looking at peer groups, what do they mean by the term peer group? Secondly, you want to identify the major influence from an agent of socialization in your life. For example, under family, you might want to say that the one who has influenced you the most is your mom, or your dad, or a grandparent. Third, you want to identify one way in which that agent of socialization has influenced you. For example, under school, it might be that you put down something like developing a career goal that you have set based on a class that maybe you have taken. That's sort of like the case in my own story, where it was a government class that I had in high school, which I just really had so much respect for my teacher that really was something that led me into teaching. Now, you want to do this same process for all four of the agents of socialization. And if you do that, you'll have a good understanding of what they are, who represents each group, and how they can influence personality development by taking a look and using this to evaluate and reflect upon your own life.